Here we have the brand new 2020 Porsche 911. It is the latest generation vehicle, codenamed 992. This right here is a Carrera S model. They launched it initially with the Carrera S and the Carrera 4S. Big news, it's wider now. 1.9 inches up front, 1.5 inches out back. You also have improved springs, better dampers. It handles a lot better. You can still get four-wheel steering. Just all of this comes together to make the 992 the best handling, best driving Porsche 911 generation as they continue to improve. Another big thing though that has happened as the car gets larger, it's become heavier, 150 to 160 pounds heavier depending on the spec and trim level, despite utilizing less steel and more high-tech lightweight materials. Just the fact that these cars are getting bigger and heavier, but it is still quite fast. Powertrain-wise, it still has a 3-liter turbocharged flat six. On the S models, it's 443 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. The intercoolers have actually moved around back. They're above the muffler here, right below the deck lid. They're 14% larger. It helps improve efficiency. It helps improve airflow. 19-inch wheels up front and 20 out back for the base model, staggered fitment. On the S models like this one, it's 20 to 21, which is like what the previous generation GT3 RS actually had. I believe they're 20 up front and 21 out back. So other things, styling changes. We should definitely talk about the styling changes. They were a little bit controversial at first, which I think happens with every single new generation of the Porsche 911. This does not have the sport package equipped, which I think recently debuted, so it's a little more aggressive, but it's a little more aerodynamic. You can see these door handles here, they kind of pop out. They also go back in when the vehicle locks and closes out. Around back with the S models, the 4S also, they used to have the horizontal light bar for the, I believe was just on the 4Ss, but now all of them have this in the back here. Exhaust tips have kind of moved out. It's, again, as with all 911s and most Porsches, honestly, a more evolutionary styling rather than revolutionary. It's subtle little changes. To the casual observer, they can't even tell that it's different. A couple more things I want to touch on with the powertrain. An 8-speed dual-clutch PDK transmission is now standard. Luckily, Porsche has promised us there will still be a 7-speed manual transmission available. Top speed will be 191 for the S model, the 4S is 190, so it's plenty good right there. Overall, from a styling standpoint, it's a little bit different. It looks very modern, taking some of the similar traits and pushed them further. The staggered wheels do look very aggressive on this car, also the wider body. On the inside, though, it's kind of a different story. It's gone very, very modern, almost, in my opinion, too much. So it's got a lot of screens. As with most of the Porsches and most luxury vehicles, it's all screens everywhere. The first thing you're going to notice with the center cluster here is the center is still an analog tachometer, but on the left side and the right side, they are just large screens now where they'll simulate the little circular dials. In the previous generations, they would still have a physical circular dial there with a screen inside. I don't know how I really feel about the giant screens now all over this place. I kind of like the older ones that had the actual physical dials there, but it's no denying that it's a lot more modern. Moving over here, this is all one giant screen now. Instead of the millions of buttons that you would find in an old Porsche 911, you get a bunch of screens now with little capacitive touch buttons there. Got actually a cup holder here, so semi-practical. Here's the big controversial thing though. This is the gear selector. It's this little stubby nub of a thing. Looks like somebody left a thumb drive plugged in a USB drive. It's really small. I don't really like the way it looks. I'm not sure ergonomically it's that great. But that is what it is. If you really, really don't like it, just get it with a manual transmission. That fixes everything. Interior feels of the highest quality as usual. It's very comfortable, great visibility. Still have rear seats in the back that are pretty much vestigial and can't be used with anybody who has legs, so no real adult will really fit back there, but they are there, so it's a 2+2 coupe. A lot of nice wood trim. So this is a Carrera S model. Got your nice steering wheel with all the drive mode controls. You got cruise control. The 911 has been going more towards almost a GT car. It's still a great handling sports car, but they keep adding all these luxury features where it becomes a very usable and comfortable daily driver. And this is just a Carrera S model. Future generations, future iterations will come from GTS to the Turbo, to the GT3, GT3 RS, obviously, Carrera T. So we'll see how this evolves, how it changes, how they make it into the more hardcore track stripped out models. But here is the interior of the new 992. So I was really excited to see the 992. I love all the Porsches. The 911s are some of the best driving sports cars out there. The GT3 is absolutely amazing, as with the GT3 RS. This is the latest generation. Some parts of it I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of some of the screens. As with most people, I really don't like this little vestigial shift knob thing going on here. Exterior styling's all right. I'm sure it'll grow on me. Personally, I still think the 991.2 looks better. But pricing is also going to go up. As with Porsches, they're already really expensive for what you get. Actually, you do get a lot with the cars, but it's still a pretty high price tag. The 992 looks like it's about $8,000 more than the previous generation. A Carrera S starts right around $113,000, and the 4S is over $120,000. That's before you start putting options on a car. And on a Porsche, that's crazy. Like, you can get these like airflow, the air vent slats in leather, and it's like, I don't know, $400. Porsche is crazy with options. But here we have it, the 992 generation. Got to play around with it, check it out. Really looking forward to driving this at some point. I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, please comment below. Thanks for watching. We'll do a quick walk around and show you guys some of the other details. We popped the hood back here. Hood, do you even call it a hood when it's in the back? Either way, really can't see much and get to much of the engine. You've got oil here, but like that's it. You got a little badge that says you got the 3.0S underneath here. Got the exhaust tips that have moved out to the sides. They're like kind of oval integrated into the bumper. We've got the Porsche text out back, the new 911 Carrera S script. And you see that horizontal brake light bar that's across the entire rear end. The car does look great, wider out. Let's open up the front trunk. As with most 911s, it's pretty spacious. Rear engine, so you got a lot of space up here. You can put Ben in there. Hey Ben, hop in the trunk. Hop in the trunk. The latest headlights. X-Sight. You get the Porsche LED matrix system. Here's a new bumper up front. Again, I think there's a sport package appearance up front that changes the way it looks. A little more aggressive. But here we go. We also have another 911 Carrera S over here. This one looks spec'd a little bit differently. It might have some more exclusive options on it. They've got it roped off on this little platform. Again, with most 911s, to the casual observer, they will never be able to tell the difference between this and a previous generation. This must have some kind of, I think, the sport exhaust. You can see the quad exhaust tips right there. This color is really nice. This is the latest 911.